Setting boundaries can be difficult. You don't want to disappoint someone, you're afraid of conflict, or you feel like you can't say no. For example, because your friend needs you. Yet it's important to know where your limits lie and when you need to say no. Setting boundaries prevents you from becoming overloaded, because without personal boundaries, we can quickly lose ourselves in our work, relationships, and family duties, resulting in resentment, anger, and burnout. We can even end up being exploited or taken advantage of by people who do not respect them. By setting boundaries, we take care of ourselves and continue to support others. When it comes to personal boundaries, we can distinguish between two types of people: the savior and the boundaries God. The savior wants to care and help. He is always there for others, but ignores himself. In addition, he feels responsible for someone else's behavior and wants to solve difficulties and problems for other people. He thinks, feels, and acts for others. The boundaries God is always there for someone, but knows where his limit is and can clearly indicate own boundaries. He is not carried away by emotions. He maintains control over his own actions and expresses himself clearly without letting the other person down. It is possible that you recognize yourself in both types. Maybe you act more like a boundaries God at work, but at home or with friends, you are a savior. It is not easy to define your boundaries. Where your boundaries is differs per day. If you feel good about yourself, you have had a good day, you can handle more than if you don't feel well. The only way to find out your boundaries is to pay attention to the moments when you cross your boundaries. You probably feel it right away when that happens. For example, through feelings of anger, irritation, or sadness, or perhaps disappointment or hopelessness. You can also experience tense shoulders, headaches, or stomach aches. If you realize that you have crossed a line, it's important to pay attention to this. You can practice to learn where your limits lie. Pay special attention to what emotions you feel. And at the same time, consider what happened just before you felt this way. Try to analyze when your boundary was really crossed. What was the straw that broke the camel's back? For example, when your girlfriend told you not to do so difficult, you felt angry inside. And don't forget your body. It's important to learn to notice what you feel in your body, because our body gives us a lot of information. Yet it can happen that you almost forget that you have a body due to the hustle and bustle of everyday life. By going through each body part with your attention, you become aware of your experiences again and you get to know your body better. A good mindful exercise to find out how you feel is the body scan. The body scan gives you the opportunity to experience thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations as they are. It's about paying attention to what's happening in your body without having to change anything. Doing the body scan regularly can lead to better learning to recognize when you're emotional as well as recognizing your body's signals. Worrying less, being less in your head with all the worries about the future, staying in the here and now. If you know what your boundaries are, you can work on setting these boundaries. Saying no is the most important skill. I already have a video about saying no on my channel, so today I continue this topic, because saying no is not easy for many people. There are several reasons for this. You want to please the other. You don't want to hurt the other person or are afraid of conflicts. Or that your parents taught you that saying no is rude and that you need a very good reason to say no. It's kind of hard to say no to people in your environment. Your friend or family member counts on you. Maybe it goes without saying that you are always there for the other person. This makes you feel even more guilty when you say no. Still, it's good to be able to do this. Always saying yes, it's unhealthy. If you want or don't want something from someone else, you can let it know in different ways. In general, you can use 3 different styles. First style is sub-assertive. It means that you don't stand up for yourself and that you don't dare to ask the other person or address the other person about something. You try to solve everything yourself. No, never mind, I can do it. Or no, that's okay, no problem. On the other hand, being assertive shows what you think, feel, and need in a respectful way. You ask for help when needed. I am having a hard time with this. Could you help me out a bit? You also indicate in a calm manner if you prefer not to have something. No, I'd rather not go. That's not really something for me. If you react aggressively, you have little regard for the feelings of others. For example, you get angry if you don't get help right away. Hurry up! Can't you see I can't do this on my own, idiot? Or you attack someone personally. You are just lazy. In any case, the best thing to do is to be tactful at first. Of the 3 styles, being assertive often works best. You will get what you want without hurting the other person or risking your relationship, but you will also stand up for your needs. The problem with our personal boundaries is that they are often too vague or abstract, and when they feel invisible in our daily life, they are often confusing. So make your boundaries concrete. Visualize them by writing them down. This way you can give your brain more clarity about where you want to draw the line between you and others. Draw a large circle on a blank sheet of paper. In this circle, write down everything that makes you feel safe and relaxed. For example, freedom to decide how to spend the weekend, hugs from your children, clear direct communication from your partner, reassuring words from your friend, or saying no to energy vampires. On the outside of the cycle, write down anything that causes you discomfort, irritation, or emotional exhaustion, including the people or situations violating your boundaries. For example, your aunt asking to borrow money, working after hours, your parents telling you what to do with your life, your colleague constantly bothering you with your relationship problems, or strangers at the disco touching you without asking. This cycle represents your boundaries. Anything outside the cycle may be something you should say no to. And such self-reflection and visualization helps to get clear what you want and don't want, and saying no will be easier. If you start the conversation prepared, you are more likely to be able to decline the request. This way you ensure that you no longer say yes when you actually mean no. So if you want to say no, immediately reject the request. Be clear. That is step number 1. The second step is possibly explaining why you say no, but only if you want to. This part is important because that's not required. Step 3. If you want, you can explain what you want to do for the other person. This also not mandatory. Step 4. Stand firm. Stay clear in saying no even if the other person rambles on. And yes, if other person continues to push, that is very annoying. It is best to show the other person that you do not like this. You don't have to answer immediately when someone asks you something. You can take some time to think about it and come back to it later. It may happen that you say yes when you meant no. You can always come back to this topic. It's best to say that you've thought about it and that you won't be able to help anyway. Your body language helps you say no. By paying attention to your body language and adjusting it if necessary, you can ensure that your no comes across even more clearly to the other person. So, say no with your eyes. Look the other person straight into the eye when you say no. This is how you make it clear to the other person that you really mean it. If you look away too much, it can come across as if you are unsure. In addition, say no with your attitude. Make sure you stand firm. Place both feet about shoulder width apart on the floor with a straight back. Let your arms hang at your side or cross them. If you look strong and powerful, your message will come across that way. Say no with your face. Try to look serious when you say no. Many people laugh when they say no to soften the message, but this can also make the other person think that you don't really mean it. If you want, you can give your message extra support by shaking your head no. And finally, say no with your voice. If you have a hard time saying no, you may find yourself swallowing the words. This can make it seem like you are still in doubt. Therefore, watch your voice when you decline a request. Speak loudly enough so that the other person can hear you clearly. Pronounce the words clearly. If you want, you can put extra emphasis on the word no. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.